says, well, bring your model over. I built a model of the boat first.
Right.
So that's I drew some basic plans. I built the scale models. Still have it like this. And says, bring it over. I'll have a look at it. And I kind of walked into his office, kind of covering this thing like this. And he looked at it. And he goes, I like it. You know, and so we settled on a price, you know, to do the 3 sets of drawings, a table of offsets, a lines drawing, and a rigging plan. And the rigging plan wasn't detailed at all. And $3,000 to, and I thought that was a good deal, you know, and because I really wanted a naval architect signature on this and someone to really work the calculations. So, you know, he went into the CFR book, you know, for vessels, 100 tons and under, commercial vessels, and you know, the scantlings were all, you know, how big the frames are going to be and all of that. And he drew all that out, and then I consulted with the Milrick brothers up in Katati, and they built a lot of steel boats for the government. So they knew a lot of tricks, like, hey, when you do this, do it this way. So you know. Anyway, so you know,
It's amazing.
got the hull built in 14 months.
And where did you do most of the work?
Right in Sausalito.
Gate 5 or gate?
Actually, almost downtown Sausalito. And I don't know how I got away with it, but Herb Madden, who owns the whole Sausalito Yacht Harbor, his family and father started the Sausalito boatyard there, you know, and so it was right there, you know, within 2 blocks of downtown.
Is he with the
And I don't know how I got away with that. You know, I'm there sandblasting one day, you know, and dust is flying everywhere, and you know, people are going, "Hey, you're getting dust all over."
All the
my-"
tourists.
Oh, so I went out and I bought like 25 or 30 car wash passes, and I handed out car wash passes to everyone. Keep the peace in the neighborhood, you know.
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
So you basically designed the boat, but you just had like the yacht designers make sure that it was.
I started off
Okay.
with the Maritime Museum at Fort Mason at the J. Porter Shaw Collection, and they had the archives for the scow schooners.
Oh,
And
okay.
Roger Olmsted did a book, and Nancy, his wife, finished it on the scow schooners of San Francisco
I
Bay.
think we have that book here.
Yes. Okay.
And so I went through all the photographs. I looked at tons of photographs of boats, and I kind of, well, the gaslight looks pretty good. It's about the size I want to build, but there were no drawings of the gaslight.
I
There
see.
were tonnage and lengths and beam and that sort of thing. And so I kind of, you know, played around with the model and, you know, you know, built the model, and then Carl Schumacher refined it.
Okay.
So he changed a few things, but not much, you know.
Ah,
And
so there actually was an original gaslight.
there was an original gaslight, and it's in the book. If you look it up in the book,
Also here.
at the back, I think
Where is it? 1874.
1874. Yeah. So, you know, people go, "Why did you name the boat Gaslight?" I go, "Well,
Did they always ask that? Yeah.
well, back in 1874, that was considered a very modern name because people in San Francisco were just getting gas lights.
There you go.
So that's where the name came from.
Right.
You know, from that early, you know, modern name today's laser or whatever, but back in 1874, Gaslight was the modern name, you know.
Have you sailed on Alma a lot? Is that
Bluetooth.
what got you interested in the first
Not a
one?
little,
you
no,
wanna
and I've
sit
been
down?
invited a million times, but you know, when you have your own project in your own boat, you're kind of, you're like this.
But what got you interested in just a scow schooner at all?
I had a strong desire to build, but I go, okay, what are you going to use this boat for? Okay, I had no dreams of sailing around the world or any of that, so let's build a boat for the local waters. What boat would fit best for the San Francisco Bay and the tributaries, you know?
Right.
See, a scow schooner, you know, and economical to build. Much easier to build than a round boat, you know? So it was money and, you know, make it simple and easy, and I wanted something that would make a good live aboard. You know, and I go, okay, well, you know, this is nice and beamy and, you know, shallow draft, and so that kind of led me into the scow schooner.
Had you built boats before?
Not of this size. You know, dories, and skiffs and that sort of thing, nothing big, but, you know, I started my career in boating with the San Francisco Maritime Museum in 1970, when Carl Cordum was running the Maritime Museum, and you know, the Balclutha was the first boat I worked on, and I remember back in the day I was surfing a lot, and I was living down in Half Moon Bay, and God, the surf went flat for like weeks, and I'm just chomping at the bit. And I pick up the local Chronicle, the newspaper, and on the front page of the Chronicle it says, "Ship Balclutha busted for pot." I started reading the article, you know, and I go, you know, there's going to be a job available. You know, so I throw my toolkit in my truck and I drive up to San Francisco and, you know, talk to Richard Childers, with the manager, and Brooks Towns. And said, "Hey, I'm a carpenter. I know how to fix things and everything. You know, oh, boy, I'm ready to go to work. You know." I go, "Well, we're just looking for a night watchman." You know?
Oh, jeez.
And I go, "I'll take it."
Why not?
So, you know, for the first 2 or 3 months, I was the night watchman, you know. I'd sit in the forecastle and make ditty bags and tie knots. I'd sit around this old kerosene stove they gave you, you know. You know, and then you had a bunch of keys. You had to go around with the thing and go to all the stations and, you know, check in and go back. And, boy, within 2-3 months, the head rigger, Ib Reese, old Dane, says, "How'd you like to work with me in the rigging?" I go, "Okay, sure, I'd love to work with you in the rigging." And he goes, "Okay, Monday morning, meet me down in the 'tween decks." So early Monday morning, I go down there, and we go down to the 'tween deck. There's these old steel lockers down there and a bench. He goes, "Sit down there." So I sit down, you know, and he opens up his locker, takes out 2 shot glasses and a bottle of vodka.
Oh, gee.
And he goes like this. You know, I kind of choke this stuff down. It's in the morning, you know. And he goes, and he pours himself another one. He goes, "Only one for you," you know. So it will help steady your nerves when you go aloft.
Oh, no.
So we go up the main, you know, to the first course. The yard arm's about this big on the Balclutha, you know. So I'm going up onto the top of this thing. Out there, and he says, "Okay, get on the foot ropes, go out there and go out to the end." So I'm like, you know, white knuckles, you know, sliding out. I get out to the end. He steps off. He walks out on the yard arm like this.
Oh, my
He
God.
walked like it was a sidewalk.
Oh, my God.
I couldn't believe it. Anyway, so that's started working in the rigging.
Yeah.
Stuck with him for many months, and then became ship's carpenter, and then
What a great way to
Harold Summers with the Wanderbird. You know, he was restoring the old schooner, pilot schooner Wanderbird from Germany.
Wanderbird. Didn't you?
Yeah, my parents got married on Wanderbird.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's
Mom
right.
and Dad got married.
Yeah.
Right, yes. Anyway, Harold kind of took control of me, and I was just, you know, he gave me a place to stay on the boat. His wife was a great cook. And he said, "If you need any money, there's always $20 up there on the right here." You know, back in the 70s, I didn't need a whole lot. You know.
Who was the original skipper of the Wanderbird? Ship of the South Pacific.
That would be Commodore Warwick M. Tompkins.
That's it. Warwick
And
Tompkins.
his son Commodore is still alive. I think he just turned 90. And the Wanderbird sailed around Cape Horn in 1936, and there's a whole film about it.
Yes.
You know.
That's who you were telling me about.
That's what I was trying to.
Yeah.
Warwick Tompkins.
Yeah, Warwick Tompkins. So
And this is the same boat that was run down on the Elbe River in Germany
correct. Yeah, after
by a freighter.
another restoration, but yeah. And what happened there, you know, Wanderbird, when Tompkins had it, had a wheel with an Edson steering wheel, whirling gear steering. And originally the pilot schooner had a tiller. The thing must have been 15 feet long. I forget
Massive
how long it was. It had block and tackle.
What?
So they go, "We're going to restore it back to the original, put the tiller on it."
Yeah.
So
Right.
what happened is the skipper gives a command, turn to port, and the tiller went to port, but the boat went to starboard.
Oh, no.
Oh,
So, you know, with a tiller,
Right.
turn
Uh-huh,
to
yeah,
port, the port, put
yeah.
the tiller to start.
yeah, so, but if it was ship's wheel, it would have been fine. But the skipper should have been paying attention too.
Right.
You know, I mean, you're on the collision course with shipping,
Freighter
you're,
coming out.
yeah, you know, it's like, hey,
Oh, what a mess.
collision avoidance, #1 rule. you
Yes.
know?
Tiller towards trouble. That's what we tell the kids.
There you go.
It's fascinating
Wow.
if they've been steering because it obviously wasn't the first time they've been steering the boat too.
Yeah, it was a fresh crew.
Oh, is it
so-
fresh? Okay, I was gonna
Yeah,
say, 'cause
I don't know all the details, it's a little sketchy, but a friend of mine just went back to Hamburg and then saw the Wanderbird, and it's undercover. The hull is rebuilt, but the rig is not in it, so she will sail again.
We're in Sausalito.
I'm sorry,
The car park near Free to Be and all that car park there. Is that where the boat was made then?
I built it in Sausalito, yeah.
Or was it on that where the car park is now?
No, I built it, it was a foot of Locust Street, so, let's see, what's the landmark?
Restaurants over there.
It's right next to Dunphy Park. So
Dunphy
Dunphy
Park,
Park,
yeah.
you know, the public park, there's Napa Street, and then if you come south of Napa Street, there's the old boatyard that used to be there. It's, I don't know what it is now, the building is still there, but,
In a cruising club, Sausalito.
yeah, just south of the cruising club, a quarter of a mile.
Oh,
Yeah, foot of Locust Street, where I built it. And,
did you
Herb Madden
originally?
was really, did me a great favor letting me build there, you know. His father's built the whole marina, and I got to know Herb over the years and helped him out, you know, I used to do woodwork for him and everything.
Yeah.
And so he gave me a real break. I go, what are you gonna, how much is it gonna cost me? And he goes, you're gonna get the first year for free.
Wow.
But he says, I want you to have it totally insured, and additionally insured. But he says, after that, I'm gonna charge you $1,000 a month. And I went over by 1 month, he didn't charge me. You know, and I had to go back and clean up the yard,
Yeah, yeah.
and, you know, sweep everything and make it all nice and flat again.
Interesting. Did you originally envision Gaslight as being a passenger boat, or did you think
Yes,
of?
yeah. Thank you.
Okay. So you designed it as for carrying passengers.
Yeah, no,
With
exactly,
Schumacher.
yeah, I built it, and I did go through, Coast Guard was here pretty regularly during the construction,
Right.
looking at all the welding going on. I had to submit tons of drawings and
Right.
plans
Right.
for electrical, and had to submit it, and then they had to approve it, and then I would build it, and then they would inspect it, and then they go, well, no, this isn't right, you gotta do it, and so we'd back the train up, and, you know,
Very good.
yeah, so they were here, and they, you know, there's a few things I had to do over, but, you know, it all worked out, you know, it was
Yeah,
good.
that's
And the
good.
Coast Guard's there, they're not really, they wanna help you,
Oh, yeah.
you know.
They love this boat, by the way.
Oh, good.
It's one of the shortest inspections that they give a passenger boat when they come and inspect Gaslight. But they always use Gaslight as a training venue for new inspectors.
Oh, yeah, and I've had
So-
a few of those.
Usually they come with a group of 3, 4, 5.
Oh,
In
really?
addition to the two guys who are actually inspecting,
Ah,
they'll have 3, 4,
yeah.
Newbies.
greenhorns.
Yeah, and those are the ones that are really looking for something.
Oh yeah.
And
right.
they're like, well, it's my job, I gotta find something.
Right.
So I found out over the years, leave something undone. That's easy to fix. Like, let the first aid kit go. Don't change the aspirin in the first aid. You know, and they'll come on, oh, your aspirin are expired in the first aid, we're gonna have to write you up. Okay, no problem. You know.
All right.
You know, leave them something to find.
Awesome. Yeah.
You know,
Yes.
something that's easy to fix. That way they feel like they're doing their job, and then they move on.
That's
you know.
right.
So you gotta learn how to speak
No,
Coast
that's
Guard, you
true.
know.
What was the first year
That's
that
great
you had,
advice.
you know, we were actually working on the bay with it?
2000.
2000. And you were at
December
Schooner, right?
2000. Yeah, I was at Schoonmaker, yeah. Schoonmaker is the right way to say it, yeah. And so that's when I started the charter business, you know.
How was the first year? Was it busy?
It was really, it was pretty darn good. I had Burke Beardsley, who started, got Marina and what's his name? Paul, going in it, and then they came and helped me with the boat quite a bit. So they didn't have their own vessel at the time, so they were booking the boat for me, you know, and things were going pretty good, you know. And then after about a year and a half, 2 years into it, they wanted to buy the boat. And I go, no, I'm not ready to sell yet, you know. And so they went off and bought the Free to Be, and
Yeah.
became my biggest competition on the bay. And they're really good at it.
There's some interesting stories about the
Oh,
sort of living together on the
Oh,
waterfront.
and we actually got into a kind of a rumble at one of the Indian Master Mariners at the Hanson Yacht Club one time. Yeah, there were broken bar stools. And,
Oh, really?
All that kind of Western.
Woo! Oh boy!
You know, there's a little friction between the crew. Paul and I do fine.
Oh, sure.
But there was friction between the crew, and there was some alcohol involved in the yacht club. There were some things got heated up a bit, and a little pushing and shoving, but in a few broken. I got a bill for like 3 broken bar stools from that guy.
Oh, that's funny.
And you sent that to Paul, yeah.
It was fun. It was all,
Yeah.
you know, and it's, as you know, it's not a big money-making thing. It's a lifestyle choice, you know,
That's
and
right.
you do it because you love it and
That's
you have a
right.
passion for it. And I love sharing the boat with people. And we had all kinds of charters over the years. You know.
Well, now the Gaslight made it to the Channel Islands
I did that twice.
twice.
Yeah, I think it was, I forget the years, but 2003 I took it down.
Wow.
Spent several weeks down there,
Mhm.
mostly at the Northern Islands.
Mhm.
No, actually, we did get down to Catalina. So
Did
we
ya?
did get to Catalina.
Did
We
you
did
get
Santa Cruz, Anacapa, Catalina, and that was about it. And then back up. And then I really picked my time of year.
Oh,
And I went
yeah.
at the end of the season, the charter season. So September I left.
Uh-huh.
And and usually things go flat. The ocean, you get that sort of lull between the
Yeah.
seasons.
Right.
And the reason I did that is on the way back home, you don't want to be bucking into coming around Point Conception. So
Right.
I motored, we hit a total flat, motored straight up the coast, total calm all the way.
Wow, that's amazing.
And stayed right off the beach, kind of went point to point, and there's a thing called the Davidson currents, like a reverse current. So, we're doing 6, 7 knots, through the water, and I look at the GPS and I'm doing 9 over the bottom. I go,
Wow,
oh yeah, we're getting helped out with the current here.
There you go. Yeah.
So
That's
I did it twice. It was good.
Twice?
And I did get caught in the Santa Ana down there in
Oh,
the
did you?
Anacapa Channel.
Ooh.
And it was, we ran for it. I ran for the lee of the island, but between the islands, the waves started building up behind me, and I'm towing the dinghy. And man, the dinghy's boing, 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 stretching, and I pulled the steel bow ring out of the dinghy.
dinghy?
Boy, that thing snapped back and hit the transom.
Whoa.
Knocked all the paint off. So now I had to come around and pick up.
Mm-hmm.
And that was kind of tricky. One of my crew members, he was skipper on the boat for a while.
Ben?
Ben.
Yeah.
I'm getting close because I can jump, I can swim to it. I go, no way you're jumping off this boat. I go, something happens, what am I going to tell your mother?
Yeah.
So finally we retrieved it, but we got in a couple of good blows.
Yeah.
I got caught with too much sail off crossing the channel.
Uh-huh.
I had full sail up, and all of a sudden it's getting up to 35, gusting to 40.
Whoa. Yeah.
And the boat's rolling like this, and
Yeah.
one of my crew members looked over the side, and the lower chine comes out of the water,
Ooh, that's
and
way
it's way over.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that was one of the hairiest things.
Yeah.
We shortened sail real quick, and I ran off. I changed course and
Yeah.
went off with it.
Wow.
I had a few close calls. Didn't lose anybody.
Wow, that's a good story.
So I'm in here for crew on that one.
Okay.
I mean, it was like Tits Ahoy, I stayed up on deck, but they did some sort of a scene down here. I don't know why.
Oh, no.
I didn't look. Well, with one eye, I might have looked with one eye. But it was fun. Circus Olay, we chartered to them.
Really? Now who's the musician that famous musician that came aboard?
Well, Ramblin' Jack
That's
Elliott,
it, Ramblin' Jack.
country western guy. He lives up in Tomales Bay, and I think he's still hanging in there.
I just saw him play last night.
Really?
But I did a lot of sailing with my early days. After Wanderbird, sailed with on a nice Stasel schooner, John G. Alden.